Hi kids, do you like video games? Awesome. Do you like Halo? You know Halo? That flagship Microsoft product from 2001? That thing that saved the Xbox? You know, Master Chief, gamer fuel, LAN parties, teabagging?
Whatever you say, boomer.
Alright. So liking Halo's old-fashioned. I get that. I grew up on it though, and since I'm 25, that makes me an old-timer for sure. But I remember when Halo was the biggest thing on the market. I'm talking the kind of thing you'd spend your whole day playing. Hours upon hours. Slayer, Oddball, Infection, Forge Mode, campaign co-op with your bros while your homework remains undone, lowering your grades to the point where a decade later, your video essay is your only form of accomplishment. Yeah, believe it or not, created in 2001 by a little company called Bungie, Halo would go on to a near decade of complete dominance. If you asked your parents to name a video game back then, they'd come up with two names, Pokemon and Halo. It was a good time. You see, Bungie managed to do the impossible. They didn't just create a good game, they created a good series. 3 straight games, beginning, middle, and end, each one lightning in a respective bottle. Yep, Halo back then? Amazing. Couldn't get any better. But that's the thing about the good old days. You didn't know they were good until they're gone. Hi, my name is Jazzy J Jazzer. Call me Jazzy. This little series we're going for here is called Don't Do This, because that's what I kept repeating myself while playing Halo 4. I'm going to go over every bad decision that came from either greed or incompetence and tell you why they shouldn't have done that, level by level. What's my authority, you ask? I'm a Halo superfan. What does that mean? That means I read these, played these, and for a couple years of my life, consumed only these, morning, day, and night. So while I'm not some game designer myself, I know enough about the series to know what works and what doesn't. In fact, I looked into the Bungie commentary and the developer diaries so much that I could probably list you what the staples of Halo are. What are they? It's the simple rules to make any game good. Here they are as follows. Number 1, keep the player engaged. Number 2, make the player care to play. It's not about Chief, it's about the player. Number 3, the enemies have to be satisfying to fight. Number 4, the space needs to be fun before it's pretty. These are simple rules, I promise you. Your favorite games followed a similar list. But we're going to get into what they mean when Halo 4 breaks them. And it will break them. Every single one. Before we begin, just a couple of house rules so we're on the same wavelength here. All footage shown is from the PC version of Halo 4. I originally played Halo 4 on launch for 360, but the new Master Chief Collection release is what started this video for me. If there are any differences I'm unaware of for the two, such as bugs, which MCC has a lot of, bravo, that doesn't prove me wrong. It just means 343 is more incompetent than you thought. We'll be playing on Legendary, since that's the proper way to play any Halo game. We'll be going through level by level, stopping to show you what went wrong and why. Some of the stuff will be nitpicks, and I'll be upfront with that. Anything you disagree with me on? You totally got that right. Bark at me in the comments if you want. It's not going to change anything. So our fatal adventure begins with 4 years passing after the end of Halo 3. All Chief knows is that the Ark is destroyed, and that the Covenant are leaderless and defeated, with the elites and other Covenant rebels allied with the UNSC. Real basic stuff, everyone knows this. He does not know the fate of his pal Arbiter, or Earth, or the Flood. All we know is that it's been nap time for 4 years. Despite this, the Forward Unto Dawn's been given a complete makeover. But hey, that's a nitpick. Who needs consistent aesthetics? Anyways, now we hear and see Cortana, and she's looking fine. What a makeover. It's okay, treat yourself. It's been 4 years staring at your man. I want to look pretty too. Anyways, trouble's afoot, so Cortana thaws Chief out, and already I gotta stop. This doesn't break a Halo stable. Art styles change throughout the games, I get that. This right here is still a problem though. Partly because it doesn't make sense, partly because I think it's incredibly ugly. But sometimes you gotta change it up. If it was up to me, I would never have upgraded the Chief's iconic Mark V armor, because I adore the Halo 1 art style. What I will say is that Bungie, while changing the art style, always kept a sense of consistency. The UNSC is boxy, analog, reminiscent of what inspired the Marines in the first place. Movies like the Alien series or Starship Troopers. The Covenant, on the other hand, were always angled, colorful, dignified, and exotic. Forerunners were steel, blue, megastructures, dwarfing both of them. What does Halo 4 give us? Hexagons. Hexagons, hexagons, hexagons. It's all hexagons. It doesn't matter which side, it's all shaped the same. Not to mention that 343 breaks canon already in the first 12 seconds of the game. Yeah, this is a nitpick, but Bungie gave a credible reason for Chief's different appearance between 1 and 2. And 3 wasn't so much different as it was a cleaner look to go with the 360's higher resolution. But Halo 4 is still on the 360. Master Chief looks completely different than when he went to sleep. Cortana can change, and has. She's a computer. The UNSC can even update the visuals. Military, ships, uniforms, they change over time. But not when said military is frozen adrift in space for 4 years. I won't talk about the Covenant until we see them. Moving along.
Hey! Easy. You've been out for a while.
Where are we?
Who the fuck is that talking?
Why did you wake me?
Is that me? That's not me. I don't talk in gameplay. Is that Chief? So we're breaking the first Bungie staple. Which one, Jazzy? You ask. It's about keeping the player engaged. Yeah, Chief talking doesn't break the game. In fact, his writing is a plus in this game, I will admit. It just sets a precedent I don't think you want. Cortana talked to you for 3 games. Banter, exposition, objectives.
Oh, I see. The coordinate data needs to be...
It was all there. People like Cortana, because when Chief didn't talk, it meant Cortana was talking to you. The player, yeah, you, with the Cheeto dust and the unwashed hair, you. Now she's talking to Chief. The problems in the plot are no longer mine, they're the Chief's. This isn't a big deal, Jazzy, you say. But it kinda is. Now, I'm an audience member, not a player. Okay. So anyways, we go over here and activate this pointless console. They get to show off the new engine by forcing the player to stop, move into an animation, something that takes me out of the game completely. This one is gonna come up a few times, don't worry. Come on, Jazzy, this doesn't matter. Sure. But why do I need to stop what I'm doing to watch the Chief move when I can just do it myself? Don't do this. Don't turn your player into an audience member. The small things add up, people. It's that simple. Anyways, moving on. We're treated to lighting effects we've seen a million times before, and we get to see how different the ship is compared to everything we know about UNSC design philosophy. Remember, the Pillar of Autumn had blacks and dark grays as primaries, but also lots of colorful subtones. Reds, blues, greens, oranges, it was all there. But none of that's here. Just the same stark silver from ceiling to floor. Thank God, though. Wouldn't want the crew getting comfortable or anything. Also, no flashlight like any other Halo game. Guess that suit upgrade phased that out, huh? What do I gotta buy that separately? Is this an Apple product now? Anyway, still no plot. Something keeps scanning us. She says a bunch of lines that could just be said by Cortana, but now we need back and forth like it's a buddy cop movie.
You know what? I need to jump over this car and smack you in your peasy ass head. That's what I need to do. Bro, you know what? You're arguing over motherfucking French fries. It's not about the French fries. It's about your lack of respect for other people's property.
So we go up this elevator shaft and... Oh God. Oh, Jesus. QTEs. In 2012, we still got QTEs? This shit was overdone in 2005. Why can't I just hit the button to open it? Or hit it with my gun to open it? QTEs? Seriously? Then my favorite part of the level. An elevator climbing sequence, which is basically a QuickTime event without any stakes. I can't move my view, I can only climb up. I can't even select what I'm holding on to. When the game wants me to move, it'll have Chief automatically look where I need to go. So this plays itself. I can't look anywhere but where I need to go. There's no timing to this. I just click the button, watch the movie. Remember, I'm on Legendary in case you thought this was a difficulty thing. I'll even get smacked by a 2-ton crate to show you I can't die here. There's no stakes. It's cinematic. Don't do this. This breaks pretty much every Halo staple across the board. Oh, baby. Look at this. An elite. Doesn't look like any elite I've ever seen, but here it is, charging at us with his sword, usually one of the most dangerous moments in Halo. Instead, Chief thinks fast for the player and grabs him, and we get a face full of just how ugly the split lips have become. Great art design. Notice the teeth can technically bite the eyes? Bravo, 343. Don't get me wrong, Bungie wasn't always perfect, but they were consistent. This is a mess. I can't even tell you what I'm looking at. Anyways, we kill the elite with another QTE and drop him down the shaft. I'll give credit by noting that we can actually die here, and we don't even get the chance to use the sword or anything. It's a pretty good idea. That self-control goes out the window in the second mission though. So yeah, the Covenant still exists. We know what they are later on, I think. Covenant remnants, Neo Covenant. Boy, nothing like showing how everything you work for 3 games is meaningless, right? Wait, where have I heard that before? Chief and Cortana are befuddled by this, but move on to go find more to kill because old habits die hard. Next is the first arena room you fight enemies in. It's a big enough room to fight however you want, but it's clear they want you to go up and try out the new assassination animations on that elite up ahead. That's cool. I liked it in Reach. I like it here. Do this. I like features like that, even if it's a bit cinematic. What I don't like is the,
Holy Jesus. What is that? What the fuck is that?
The Storm Rifle, your first new weapon in this misadventure. What is it? It's a Covenant assault rifle. But Jancy, they already have those. I know, son. I know. The Type 25 plasma rifle is actually my favorite weapon in the original games. It looks unique. Vastly different firing rates and projectile speed from the UNSC assault rifle. Different properties, plasma, which affect enemies differently than bullets. Oh, and it can be dual-wielded too. More on that later. So that's all really cool. Here, there's nothing. It's just a reskinned assault rifle. It doesn't do anything different. It takes just one less shot than AR to kill a Spartan. Not fun, not satisfying, not unique. Don't do this. Also, not sure why the grunts look like little goblins, but I guess that's a nitpick to fuck up a consistent design through 5 games. What do I know? Or that they suddenly aren't translated in 4, even though they could speak English since Halo 1, and are translated using Spartan armor by Halo 2. What do I know? Again, consistency is for nerds, right? Anyways, we slaughtered the little terrors and go and do a button pushing animation so we feel more like the Chief. Then we get to see what we're up against. The Covenant. At least we think so. Hey, remember when those ships were canonically silver? Anyways, the enemies board the ship and we find out just how bad the AI is. This could almost be described as subjective since I don't know the real specifics, but in the original Halo games, grunts were subordinate to elites. They'd be used as frontline fighters while the elite flanked, or sometimes you'd use the grunts as flankers while he pinned you down. Here, the grunts stay in a small area while I quickly noob combo the leader. They don't seem to notice the threat until I'm directly on top of them. I'm not even going to act like Halo 3 wasn't super easy, but there was at least some threat of death if you got overconfident on the battlefield. Here, I'm not breaking a sweat. Anyways, we leave the room and run back the way we came. We get to experiment with grenades a little more with this elite who only throws grenades. He actually stuck his grunt buddy the first time I played this. There's also grenade markers now because players are children and asking them to keep track of what's happening in front of them is too much. So while plasma grenades are massive flaming balls of blue energy you can see from a mile away, there's a helpful indicator clogging up your screen to make sure you know it. Thank you, 343. I was worried I was going to experience mortality this level. This is going to sound like another nitpick, but the sound design is awful. Close your eyes. Picture a Halo 3 firefight. You're imagining different guns, different grenades going off left and right. You know exactly what they sound like. You know exactly where everyone is. You know what they're doing. Here, everything sounds exactly the same. The visuals are also extremely subdued. Just in case you thought Halo's colorful palette was ever going to make a real return, I'll save you some time. It won't. Blue, gray, green. If you're lucky, maybe some yellow. Oh yeah, also, dual wielding doesn't exist anymore in case you were wondering. See, Halo was too complex for people, so they stripped more features out. I don't know why. We all know 343 just tried to copy Call of Duty as much as possible, but just, I don't know, forgot that small detail that was in Call of Duty. Not important though, just a nitpick. Chief says to the player that these Covenant are more fanatical than before. I don't know what the fuck we're talking about, as the previous games also had grunts going kamikaze at the drop of a hat. Difference here is that the enemies don't take cover. The reality is because they can't program AI to save their lives. So, lie to the player and call it world building, I guess? Don't do this. We also see jackals for the first time, and you kill them the same way you've been killing them for over a decade. They don't look as shit, but they do look like shit. But hey, at least they're in the game, though. More on that later. Then you go into this room, and you can watch the game fucking shit itself with a window. You know in Halo 1, that game that came out in 2001, would have had the Covenant unload into windows to break them and kill you? But here the windows don't break, because programming is hard. The grunts also don't flank you or anything either. Even in the windows that didn't break in Halo 1, they fired at you because they were angry. They hated you. Here, the grunt AI just breaks. They become a museum piece for you to look at. Their eyes follow you. That's about it. They also look terrible. Don't do this. Anyways, we give everyone here the old Halo 2 combo and move on. Fun fact, the elite often get stuck in this door at the end of the room and we'll just turn around and around and around without doing anything. Bravo, 343. Then we run through more reused assets in the same one-note color palette to go into the best part of the game, the outer space section. Copying similar effects as Halo 2 is a good idea. I give them a lot of credit for this. What's less fun is you just run along the left side and accomplish the mission without setting foot in the cool part of the arena. They also hand you the game trivializer 500, known as the battle rifle. It looks like complete shit in this game, but that's a nitpick, and we've been through this before. What do I know? The ship's only been lost in space for 4 years, so maybe Cortana gave the armory a makeover too. Whatever. This fight's a mess. The Shield Jackal's AI break here, and we'll just run up next to you without firing. The grunts don't know how to run up the ramp, so your only problem here are the few elites and Jackal snipers you can one-shot. Then you do another animation, and wow, look at that, all the Covenant that were firing at you disappeared. New ones come in for a landing, but fun fact, since this game has sprint, which adds nothing to the gameplay, you can just haul ass over to the missile and fire it. I never died from this part on Legendary. If you're designing a grand finale to your game's intro level, don't do this. Anyways, that's the end of the first level. We wake up not knowing what's going on, only that we're under attack by an alien race, just outside a mysterious alien artifact. So we lose the ship and head down to the artifact and... Wait a minute. Where have I heard this before? Well, at least Chief can't accidentally kill a bunch of Marines this time. We get sucked into this completely unexplained thing, which apparently is a Forerunner planet according to Cortana. The missile hitting the Covenant ship looks like complete shit, not sure how that got in the release. Then we just have to run through an exploding ship for what, I don't know. We basically end in the same exact position. There's no combat or anything, and a lot of the effects look kinda ass. What do I know? I will say, Cortana's delivery is really well done here, because Jen Taylor is amazing. Steve Downes, on the other hand, the voice of Master Chief, well, the longer he talks, the worse he gets.
That is not true!
By the end of the first level, Master Chief has talked more than he has in any of the other Halo games. Was that a good design decision? I'll let you be the judge on that one. That's the end of the first mission though, a Call of Duty cinematic. That was fun, wasn't it? On Legendary you can run through this mission in about 5 minutes. I bet you could do it in half the time on easier difficulties. We wake up on this mystery planet surface in a field of blue, gray, and yellow. Our big green machine gets up and finds out the subplot of this game is Cortana. I'll tell you right now, I personally love this plot. It's lore-friendly, really shows off their relationship. My only problem is that it's the subplot because the main plot sucks. But we don't know the main plot yet, thankfully. All we gotta do now is find a way off this rock. So yeah, you can pad around this area and find a weapon we haven't used before. The LMG almost looks like a cool weapon. Anyways, we go out to a nice clearing and see something that is supposed to look cool. I mean, I guess. Massive gray and blue Forerunner blocks. Yeah. Very mysterious. Although seeing the ring and the beam emitter tower is a little more mysterious than floating rocks. Still cool, begrudgingly so. Anyways, if we turn down the path, we can see... Oh, what's that? Is that a... Oh, baby, it is. It's a fucking Warhog. It's everybody's favorite video game vehicle. A Warhog. Wow, that's so cool. I do notice that there's no Marines to help out, so it's just me. That's not really how Halo has done it in the past, but I'm sure everything will be fine. I mean, we got a Warhog right here. That's awesome. This is what Halo's all about. So we go down another path of blue and gray with a little green on the side and empty out into a fucking Covenant encampment. This is the best example in Halo 4 of the Halo stable being broken. The place, yeah, it's pretty. Rolling green hills, more floaty dumb shit in the distance. I feel like I'm on an alien world. But I'm on Legendary playing single player. I'm getting ripped to fucking shreds out here. There's concussion rifles, there's fuel rods, there's even a fucking sniper out there. Oh, this isn't even fun if I get out of the Warhog, as the area is meant to be driven around. So what am I supposed to do? Use a ghost? Attack from a distance? Just gun it? I gun it. I gun it repeatedly. I got it in more than 10 attempts to get to the other side of this horrible, no good, lousy fight. The best part is that there's an inaccessible barrier on the other side. Why? Why do I have a hog for this open fight if it's just me driving and I have to get out 2 minutes later? What am I supposed to do here? What does the game offer me for choices? Nothing. Anyone who actually likes Halo 4, please leave a comment about this area. On Legendary, it's a pointless meat grinder. It's awful. Tell me I'm wrong. I don't know how you could. This area is actually what sent me into such a rage that I created this video. It's the second level, guys. The second level. Do you know what the second level is for other Halos? Pretty fucking fun. Not here, not in 343's Halo. Anyways, you get through somehow, and you're treated to some more banter, and let me just say, I'm just so glad you guys kept the concussion rifle from Reach. because it's not an obnoxiously unfun weapon to fight against or anything. Just super happy it's in the second level and the game just throws fuel rods, concussion rifles, and snipers my way. Awful, awful game design. Now that's a subjective nitpick, don't get me wrong. But on Legendary and Close Quarters, well, I thought we learned from Halo 2. I mean, these guys are just the worst. Anyways, you finish the fight and you're subjected to armor abilities. Oh great, when the sprint wasn't bad enough. I'll admit, I'm fighting the tide here. Most of these abilities were already in previous games. I will say that, the old Halo sandbox had these as equipment or one-time abilities. Something I think is superior. But that is a complaint from the multiplayer, and Halo 4 has a lot more wrong with it than just armor abilities. For campaign, it's whatever. I'll go deeper into this later as it comes up. Anyways, we go into another blue and gray building and find some old friends in the Sentinels. I actually love these little guys in every Halo game, and I was sad that they only really experimented with them in Halo 2. I really like them as enemy types, and I can't wait to get killed by these guys later. Then you have to fight in this area. It's a bit better than what we've seen before in terms of design, but on Legendary, the invisibility you get is still useless. They'll see right through you, even if you're standing still. Much of the weapons are also a joke. Not sure why the Needler has barely any ammo when it can't even be dual-wielded to compensate for it. In fact, every weapon in this game has dramatically reduced ammo. I'm sure that was designed to encourage that scrapper gameplay, where you're constantly picking up weapons during the fight. But on Legendary, it's usually just sprinting to a weapon and then back to cover. There was an attempt, and on easier difficulties it probably works a lot better. So, good job 343. I think that was a good move. But this fight is tedious. You just ran the length of this area twice now and you're being told to do it a third time. There's no real design to this engagement. They just threw a shit ton of grunts and jackals on either side. Good luck. This is more annoying than tough. But we finish it. And then we find out about the Infinity. This is basically 343's pride and joy for this series. Cool idea, bad execution, more on that later. After we go find a portal to get to the next level, we also pick up another armor ability. A new one, Hardlight Shield. Mobile cover. You be the judge. Better than Sprint though, because at least it adds something to the fight. Anyways, we move down a long hallway reminiscent of Assault on the Control Room, complete with obnoxious banshees. We get two new weapons here. The rocket launcher, which once again has the homing ability in case you felt the game was too hard. And the worst shotgun design I've ever seen in my life. Ever. I mean, what's going on here? What am I even looking at? The enemies trip over each other a lot here, there's no real difficulty. Plus there's a random banshee in case you wanted to hear how bad the sound design is for it and how annoying it is to fly in a small box canyon. You can actually gun it all the way to the end of this area, passing like 20 enemies with no issues using the banshee. Fun. Then you hit another loading area and then another wide open arena. I have nothing to say about this section because they put a ghost here you can board and then just gun it, missing all the enemies. I'm not going to fall 3 for 3, just kidding, I am. Only on Reach is it possible to just avoid this much of the gameplay. Want to know why? Sprint. Yeah, I know sprint is a hot topic because children have ADHD and can't fathom normal walking speed. But Jazzy, look at the videos. The base movement speeds are nearly identical. Thank you, Mr. Strawman, but remember that in order to accommodate sprint, the arenas got bigger. This means more open ground. Is that a good thing? You tell me. I was able to just sprint around a large part of the game the developers spent probably a year or more on. Anyways, we'll climb up another building, trashing the Covenant as we go. This is where we meet the Hunters, but in case you were worried about the game being hard, you're given a slew of Sentinel allies, which basically keep the Hunters pinned and aggroed, so there's no challenge at all. Don't do that. You have to showcase the threat. The Hunters are tough and cool. Let me fight them at the top of this arena by myself. Like the first time you fight them in the series. Yeah, you could have Marines help you, but you had to be good enough to keep them alive. Reward for risk. Here, there's none of that. Anyways, that's the end of the level. Then we enter a really beautiful looking Forerunner elevator. Always been a fan of these things in every game they're in. We're treated to a cutscene and we see the abysmal enemies we're going to be fighting for the next hour or so. More on those later. Anyways, let's recap the level. It opens with an unneeded Warthog section, feels like it's there simply for nostalgia. Awful fighting arenas that don't allow players any choice of movement, enemy counters that are boring, new weapons and vehicles are hardly utilized. This might be the worst mission in the game, since the previous mission felt like an interactive cutscene more than anything else. Don't do this. So anyways, that's the beginning of Halo 4. Did you feel like it was as iconic as Halo 1? Or as bombastic as 2? Or as fun as 3? If you did, leave a comment explaining why down below. I know Halo 4 is objectively bad, but maybe you have your own reasons why you can ignore that. Anyway, shout out to my friend M-Chan for helping me with the technical aspects of this video. I couldn't do it without him. Please like and subscribe to this channel, swipe right, subscribe, all that good stuff. Have a wonderful day. Even in the windows that didn't break in Halo 1, they fired at you because they were hangry. Fuck. Eat a Snickers.